to everybody because of that. And so I thought, okay, who else could I talk to about this whole concept of the cost of unemployment and this idea of working a 4-hour day? And so we kind of collaborated and decided that it would be best to interview someone that is the epitome of a hardworking mom and also able to get solid work in at home and able to work a good schedule, which we're going to get into a little bit, and not get caught in the unemployment trap, because really that's one of my concerns. In fact, my biggest concern right now is, depending on what state you're in, because we have people on from all brokerages in all states across the country, people are kind of taking advantage of, if you will, maybe the unemployment, which I get. I'm sensitive to the idea that, you know, if commissions are down or income is down, you definitely have to provide for your family. So I'm sensitive to that. But I wanted to hear from someone who is running a family and running a real estate business, how that works. So so we're going to accomplish a couple things today. We're going to have a good discussion with Amy, and then we're going to get into this idea of the cost of unemployment and how it's affecting the real estate industry. So first, Amy, if you could start us off. Oh, and I'm sure people are wondering, how are you guys sitting so close together? What happened to social distancing? Trust me when I tell you, and I was just talking to Amy before we came on, we're going to get chastised for this. I had the chairs 6 feet apart. It didn't look good. We were in the corner of the room. You know, we've been quarantining ourselves for 8 weeks now. This whole studio's been sanitized. You know, we're walking around with masks on in the office. So trust me, we're doing this safely, and we're mindful of the health and safety of everyone. So Amy, if you could please start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of what you did before real estate, when you got into the business, how we ended up working together. Take it away.
So before real estate, I was in the automotive industry for about 10 years, and I had started investing in real estate, and then realized that automotive was not for me. It wasn't my passion. Started getting more and more interested in real estate. Met with the team leader at Keller Williams, and started working there, quit my job, started working at Keller Williams. Was there for about 6 months. I had already heard you speak a couple of times. Drove all the way out to Sterling.
Remember, that's when we first met.
Yeah, and you were looking at me like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm like, aren't you in Plymouth? What
because I wanted more. So I was looking for more guidance, more accountability, more structure to my day. I really needed that. That's the environment that I came from.
I was going to say, in corporate America, and what was your role? You were in
I was in
finance?
Supply chain management.
Okay.
So I did
but very
purchasing,
structured.
inventory, very structured.
And so that's what you were looking for.
Yes.
And then we had a discussion around that. And I think at the time even, I probably shared with you, because I share with our agents all the time, or agents that are considering joining us, you might not want to work with us because we're highly structured, right? We believe in a high level of discipline towards structure. We treat this like a corporate job. Now, of course, there's freedoms and so forth because we have that enjoyment in real estate. So tell us about your first year with us then.
First year, I struggled a little bit like everyone. I was in the office every day at 8 a.m. prospecting. I was so happy to have an environment where other people were doing that. And that really, I mean, I know I was putting up, 3 and 4 deals a month, even at that time when I had first started here. Like every agent, I had my pitfalls, right? So struggles through deals and everything. But I did, a lot better in the 12 months that I was here. I want to say I closed at least 11 more deals here than I did in my first 6 months.
I remember that. You took off right away. And really, I think a lot of it has to do with, obviously, you got skills training, which is not something that most brokerages give. And also there was a higher level of structure and accountability to where
which was really what
you
I
didn't
needed.
feel bad as the only one showing up at 8 a.m. or 8:30 because you were surrounded by other people.
Right?
Got it. And so your first year, if I remember correctly, you made close to or right about $100,000 net income with us.
Close to that.
And which is amazing because, there's real estate agents probably watching that are grossing a lot of volume, right? I know of some real estate teams, 500,000 in GCI, 600,000 in GCI, and just struggling to get to 100,000 net. So the fact that you were able to do that in your first year is definitely commendable. So fast forward to, 8 years later now, you've been with us, and I don't think there's been a year where you've dropped below 100,000. If so, maybe just a few bucks below. Right.
And usually, if I am, it's more of a choice, and I do tend to, there are times where focusing on my family is important. So you know, if you do that, it's usually a choice. You know? So, yeah.
Well, I use you an example. I don't know if you know this or not, but I use you as an example all the time when I'm speaking to audiences around the country on how we have one agent. And I use your name. I don't share your last name. So now I'm giving away the secret. This is the Amy that I'm talking about. I talk about, we have an agent. Her name's Amy, and her goal when she sits across from me when you sit across from me to do your business plan, we talk a lot about how you can maintain an income of at least $100,000 a year or more, right? Maybe it's 120, maybe it's 140, somewhere in that range, but also spend more time with your family and also be a better mom, right? And so what I love about that conversation is it's not always about, all right, I made 120 last year, now I need to make 180 this year, and I made 180 last year, I need to make 250 this year. It is, no, I'm comfortable around 100, 150, somewhere in that range. And I would like to make that same amount, but maybe, and this is what we talk about, maybe instead of working 48 hours a week like I averaged in 2019, I could do it on 42 hours a week. And that's a lot of what we talk about in your one-on-ones and in your business plan. So fast forward to today. Obviously, we know you've had a lot of success with us in the real estate industry, but we were hit with COVID, and that changed everything. All right. So talk to us about what changed for you and how that affected your business and how that affected your family and your work-life balance and all that.
Right. So when it initially happened, because we have 4 kids at home. So we have 2 teenagers, a 12-year-old and an 11-year-old. So 2 high schoolers and then the 2 younger ones, 2 boys, 2 girls. And then 2 people working at home. And everyone trying to homeschool. So there's a lot going on, and it did take a little while to kind of figure out what we're going to do, but I knew I needed a plan. I knew I needed a way to handle it immediately, and especially from our conversations with our team, is if you don't have a plan in place, you're not putting that schedule together, this is what everything's going to look like for you 6 months, 12 months from now. So it didn't look good.
Well, when we first rolled it out, and you were one of the ones we thought of, because we have an ALC on our team where we get feedback from them and hear what we need to do to improve and so forth. And we originally came out saying, everyone needs to have a strong morning schedule. Everyone needs to maintain the morning schedule, which is how we operate prior to COVID. Well, next thing you know, we started getting feedback from those with a lot of kids and doing school at home, and both parents working from home and so forth. In your case, of that morning schedule is just not going to work, right? So can you tell us a little bit about what changed with your morning schedule and how you adapted?
So, and it's funny because my morning schedule, I tried to keep as consistent as I could, but I realistically only spend an hour and a half to 2 hours a day right now prospecting. I try not to do any administrative in the morning. So I spend that time prospecting as much as I can. And then I do have, is what it kind of has turned into, is this 3-hour gap in the middle of the day. The 3 hours that I take in the middle of the day is to do lunch with the kids. It's to, if I can, get a walk in, work out, do yoga, something like that. And then, kind of set everyone up for the afternoon so that we can all have a productive afternoon.
So can you give us, because if I'm on here watching, I want to know like the specific time. So the 3-hour gap, when is that? What time do you start working? So can you give us the specific times and what you do during those times?
Sure. So basically at 8:30 is when I start. And between 8:30 and usually 10 o'clock, because then we have a 10 o'clock meeting, I'm doing, I do a lot of buyer follow-up and, or I should say prospecting. And then also I do some seller prospecting, but I've been mainly focusing on buyers. A lot of times that's what I do. And I tend to get a lot of my listings from the buyers that I work with. So I'm doing that in that time frame.
That's from 8:30 to 10. And how are you doing that in somewhat of a peaceful, while your environment can't be peaceful at 9 in the morning, right? So how are you doing that?
For me, the kids don't get up until 9, but we make them get up at that time. So, so for me, I have a little bit of time. Mine are a little older and a little bit more independent. I expect them to get their own breakfast. I expect them to get up. And then 10 o'clock is kind of their time to start their homework too. So, so it's a tiny bit peaceful for me at that time. It won't be that way for everyone. But that's kind of how I get it done.
Well, you've worked from home before, and you've had toddlers, obviously, and you know a lot of moms with toddlers, and I know we have a lot of people watching that have toddlers. So, what are some recommendations there? Because I know you've talked to a lot of people that are working from home now. A lot of moms like yourself working from home with toddlers. What's different there?
So the difference there is you have to work around their schedule, the toddlers, the kids' schedule. So meaning maybe you are getting up in the morning before they do, and you're getting your emails in, probably not making phone calls because they get up at 7:30 or earlier. So we really have to put, just like you do with your regular schedule when you go to the office, put your personal stuff in your schedule first.
Got it.
You know when there's napping, you know when they go to bed, you know when they wake up. So really finding ways to take the downtime when they are unfortunately out sleeping, right? To really take advantage of that and get your time in.
So that means working at rather odd times, right? You know, for instance, if you're used to getting up at 6 and you know your toddler's going to be up by 7, you might need to get up an hour earlier and get in a solid 90 minutes before the rest of the house is awake.
Right.
And then, of course, at 6:30 or 7 or whatever time that is, then go be a mom for a few hours, 3 hours, whatever. And then now you have to plan for the nap time, you know, in the afternoon.
And then the evening too. So when kids, you know, that age tend to go to bed a little bit earlier. So and that's a great prospecting time. Yeah. So we all know that, you know, we're in the morning prospecting, where, you know, the evening is, you get a lot of, you know, contacts during that time. So.
And I'm sure there's a lot of moms out there that are saying, I'm usually got half a glass of wine gone by 8 o'clock at night when I'm putting them down, because you're dealing with the kids all day now, right?
Right. I mean, there's definitely sacrifice, right? So, and this is hopefully short-lived.
Yep.
But I mean, and then, you know, and I know I have a lot of mom friends too that they do have different tactics and different, and people
Can you share
are welcome.
Some things that you've heard?
I mean, you know, giving your kids choices, you know, different things, planning their snacks. I mean, little things like you're letting them pick out their snacks in the morning so that you're not going and getting them snacks all day long and doing things like that. Yeah. I mean, really, and setting up where your workspace is close to them. So you're not getting up every 5 minutes to run and see what they're doing.
Yes.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Love it. And of course, if there's additional questions, right?
They can always ask me, because I have additional tools and resources that, you know, a lot of the moms groups that I'm in, people have, are always sharing and trying to give each other good ideas.
Awesome.
So,
and we'll make sure to share in the notes when we always do a follow-up email afterwards. So we'll make sure to put your contact information in there, because some of you may have referrals for Amy. She works all of Southeast Michigan. So a couple questions for you, Amy, in addition to what we just talked about. So what do you think will change for you and your schedule post-COVID? So let's say, you know, for those of you that it's your first time on, we're in the state of Michigan, probably one of the most strict states out there. We're hearing we're going to get the shelter in place lifted at the end of this month. So what do you think will change for you and your schedule post-COVID?
Well, the tough part is that the kids are not going back to school. And for me, their summer camps aren't going to be open. These kids are going to be around every day, all day long, all through the summer. Hopefully not longer than that, just because they need that interaction with their friends to go back to school. But so there's a lot of days where my schedule isn't going to change that much. So I just don't have a choice. So, so I mean, until the children are gone, I'm sticking with the same schedule that I've been having.
So I interrupted you as you were going through your schedule. So let's go back to that, because I think that's really important. Amy works a solid 4-hour day. All right. And that's solid. And I'm not, you know, I know you hear us talk about, hey, you got to put together a 4-hour day. And we talk about, you know, the 4 hours can include Zoom training or webinars and everything else. No, this is 4 hours of solid productivity every single day right now. So can you finish with that schedule?
Sure. So in the middle of the day, I take that break to kind of reset everything. And then, so really at 2 o'clock is when I can dig back into my work. So I take, you know, 2 to 3:30, 2 to 4 to do what I can and stay focused and, you know, and finish up whatever I need for the day. And then I'm back at it, you know, with the family after that.
So 8:30 to 10, right? And that's basically focused on lead generation. 10 to 10:30, we have a team meeting, which obviously you're always on. So 8:30 to 10:30 is basically your work schedule in the morning. All right. And then you're done until 2 then?
I'm done until 2, and then at 2 o'clock
So can you tell us what happens between 10:30 and 2?
Let's see.
Or what you attempt to have happen
Right?
between 10:30 and 2?
So even, I mean, after our meeting, I usually from 10:30 to 11, I will, go back and finish up some work.
Yeah.
But really it's 11 to 2 that I take off.
Yes. And I love that. You're disciplined with that too, right?
I am. So, I mean, and luckily I can fit in a workout most days now, but it took me a while to get there. And then, and then I'm interacting with the kids, figuring out what they need, what's going on with them, making sure their needs are met so that I can focus on work later.
Yeah.
And, lunches, things like that. That's what we're doing. We're all together, which is important too.
Yep. Love that. And so that takes place from 11 to 2. You get all your personal stuff in, your time with your family, lunches and so forth. 2 o'clock rolls around, and then you're into what type of mode?
So then I'm more into aggressive lead follow-up. I've been reaching a lot of people in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Unlike normal.
Yeah. Because people are home, right?
Yep. So I found that time is really the best time for me to.
And for those that aren't familiar with the way we do business, what does aggressive lead follow-up mean to you?
I mean, I'm using my CRM and every day I'm in there. I've been pretty consistent and really have gotten my CRM in a good place during COVID.
Yep.
So I'm using that to follow up with people every single day. So using the 333.
Yep.
And, following up with people via text 3 times, calls 3 times, emails 3 times, sometimes more.
Yep.
But really staying in touch with people has been
the 333 is our follow-up program, which we've shared before. And we did a video on it. So for those of you watching, if you just Google search, Jeff Glover, Glover U, 3x3x3 lead follow-up method, it'll come up somewhere. Yeah. So that happens from 2 to 4. Right. Yeah. And obviously there's some administration in there too, right?
There's going to be. Yep. So I haven't, because we're not dealing with as many transactions as we normally deal with, the administration time is a lot less than it used to be.
Sure.
So that's why the schedule looks this way.
Yep.
But there are times, in the evening, especially if I can't fit in my lead gen or my administrative, I am going to take a little time in the evening to do that too.
Got it. Love it. And so that's 2 to 4. And then if you have an appointment to go on, that takes place after.
Exactly. Appointments are after.
So what I'm hearing then is you took the 4-hour schedule, made it your own in terms of 4 hours of in-home productivity. And then if you have an appointment to go on, that would be an additional 45 minutes to an hour or whatever. Right. Yeah. So on your longest day right now, maybe you're putting in 5.5 hours.
Right.
Got it. Yep. But for the most part, it's a minimum of 4.
It is.
Right.
Yeah. Every day.
Awesome. And we still anticipate that you're going to hit 6 figures again this year, and you were well on your way. You started off strong. And of course, everyone suffered a little bit in Michigan through the last 8 weeks, but you'll pick up right where you left off and have a phenomenal May, phenomenal June, I'm sure. Yeah. All right, a couple more questions, then we'll get to the cost of unemployment, because I think it's an important topic that not enough people are talking about right now. This is a fun one. What's the first meal or drink you're going to have once we get the
that's an easy answer.
Please.
A margarita.
A margarita.
At Barrio, right?
A margarita at Barrio, right here in downtown Plymouth, where our studio is located. All right, good. Yeah. So question, what is your goal for homes sold this year, and what are you going to do to get back in track in your mind?
So my goal for homes sold this year is 40 homes sold. And to get back on track, I'm realizing now that I'm going to have to fit in some good ultimate prospecting days in my schedule.
Got it.
Which I actually had into my schedule already built in before COVID.
Yeah.
That's something I'm going to have to do.
So in your mind, and everyone has a little bit of a different definition, what is an ultimate prospecting day?
I'm basically I'm starting still at my 8:30 time, but I'm going to be calling potential buyers and sellers all day long until 5 o'clock.
Got it. So you go from 8:30 to 5. You really don't focus on anything else other than going after business.
Yeah.
And how many of those a month, a week? What does that schedule look like?
Right now, I'm planning on every other week.
Every other week, doing one a week. Yep. Got it. Did you pick the day already, or do you know what day you're going to do it?
No, this is a new decision. But usually I do it. I want to say I pick it, several weeks in advance, and I just plan it out so that I know that. And then again, it's fitting your schedule in around that day, knowing what you need to do to create, that quiet time, that private time, so that you can have that day.
Sure. Awesome. Love it. Question. What did you learn during COVID or for your business in relation to real estate, or what will you implement when we get fully released?
So what I learned is, I've always tried to listen to people, understand what they're going through, but now I've learned that it's so much more important now, and it's helping me create that skill moving forward. So basically, everyone has a story right now. Everyone's stressed. Everyone has different experiences, and they just want someone to listen to them.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've really been spending a lot of time on, and I
Yep.
feel like it's paying off. The other thing is connecting with my community, and that's something I'm going to continue doing as well.
Yeah.
We're all stuck at home. We're all, a lot of us live in subdivisions. And so I created a Facebook group for moms in my subdivision called the Mom Village. And so that's what I started so that everyone can connect and talk about what they're going through.
Yep.
For needing help, we've scheduled events, different things like that. We have a bonfire night coming up this Friday. We're doing a food truck in the subdivision.
Yep.
Different things like that to really bring the community together. So.
I love it. And I've been doing the talk all around the country, a 30-minute talk on 24 ways to survive through COVID. And one of them is just that, connecting with the community. And yes, there's things you can do from a charitable standpoint, but there's also things you can do on a local neighborhood level. And so I love what you've done there.
Yeah, and we have about 500 homes in our subdivision. So there are a lot of people there, and everyone's really embracing it, which is nice to see.
Awesome. Well, it's on my mind. Before we get to the cost of unemployment, we put together a sample 4-hour work schedule for everybody. So if you want a copy of this schedule, this was written out by me as an ideal 4-hour workday right now. Of course, there's things you can modify, but this is essentially what your day should look like right now. You can text us the word schedule at 55444. So if you just pull out your phone, text schedule 55444, we will email you a copy of this in a PDF so that way you can take it and make it your own. Obviously, we know a lot of agents that we work with. We're close to 200 clients around the country at Glover U now. So we have a lot of clients that are having success with a 4-hour schedule. And obviously, as you've heard, Amy is having success with one too. So if you want a copy of that, text schedule. Text the word schedule. All you do is just go to your text messages, type in the number that you're going to text, which is 55444. Text the word schedule, and we'll make sure you get your copy. So we're going to shift gears here, and I'm going to go into I guess, demonstration, if you will. I'm going to use the whiteboard, and I get sometimes, because it's a whiteboard, there's a little bit of a glare. So everything that I share, I'm going to say out loud so that way you can follow along. If you're taking notes, this would be a good opportunity to turn to a clean sheet of paper, because we're going to talk about the cost of unemployment. And that actually, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, that's what kind of brought us to this conversation of, I'd like to interview Amy, because quite honestly, you're a perfect candidate for taking advantage of the unemployment that our state is providing. Yeah. And I think you also know that although that might be financially beneficial now, that's going to hurt you long term. And we share that with our team, and I'm going to share that with you guys now. So we'll pull these chairs out of the way. And if you would, turn to a clean sheet of paper, because I want to write this up. Just unplug that, slide this over. Okay, so we call this the cost of unemployment. And so every state is a little bit differently. So obviously you will have to determine how this math works out in your state. But in our state, they were allowing us 39 weeks of unemployment. Okay, now the number of how much unemployment is going to change, because as many of you know, in every state, you're getting that extra $600 stimulus. So right now, if that $600 stimulus stayed in place for the entire 39 weeks, and someone took advantage of 39 weeks of unemployment, by the way, in our state, that works out to $962 per week. Not bad. You can make pretty good money on unemployment. And I get it. I understand there's a lot of people out there that maybe just got started in the business, or were having a first couple months of the year were not that great, so they're forced to take advantage of unemployment. And by the way, I'm not discouraging anyone from doing that. What I don't want to have happen is I don't want it to hurt your production now, because if it hurts your production now, it's going to cost you a lot more than the $962 a week that you're working on unemployment. Now, let's just say you took advantage of the entire 39 weeks of it, and the $600 stimulus stayed in place. That number works out to $37,518 in income from unemployment. Not bad, right? And there's a lot of people out there collecting those checks and taking advantage of it and feeding their family, and we're in support of that. Trust me, we want people to do that. Now, I would argue that they're probably not going to do the $600 stimulus for 39 weeks. So let's just say you cut this number in half, or just under half. Let's just say at a minimum you end up taking advantage of about $30,000 in unemployment benefits, right? plus you might have a closing in there. You know, again, the 600 might go away. Let's just say it works out to, for the sake of this exercise, about $30,000 in unemployment that you take the max advantage of. For the sake of this argument, let's also say we'll just use an average agent at JGA. You know, and this is actually a below average number. You know, our average agents close right around 32, 33 per deals per year annually. Well, let's just say an agent with us is closing 25. All right, 25 deals, because we have a lot of agents, new agents, experienced agents, or we have agents leading teams or brokers leading offices where they've got good amount of agents doing 20, 25 deals. So if I'm running a company and I have agents doing 20, 25 deals and they're taking advantage of close to 39 weeks of unemployment, then that probably means a 20 to 25 deal a year producer is going to end up losing about 10 deals in production, right? So if they're doing 20 to 25 deals and they're taking advantage of unemployment, they're probably going to do about 10 less transactions. All right, is that safe to say? Would you agree with that?
Yep. Yeah.
So if they're doing 10 less deals, let's take a look at the math on that for a second. So in our world, 10 deals, our average agent check, now this is a self-generated sale. Our average agent check on a self-generated sale is $4,387 per check on a self-generated sale. Now, I know we have people on from all over the country. They're saying $4,387, that's like 1% here. Our average sales price is $200,000. I'm sorry, we're in Michigan. We had no choice. We were born here. All right. So now for those of you at home in different states and different average sales prices, you can do the same activity based on your average sales price. In fact, I would argue if your average sales price is higher than ours, this math is going to be even more astounding. All right. So 10 times 4,387, we know that math is pretty simple, 43,870. So in other words, if you're losing 10 transactions because you're just kind of coasting, because you're just kind of going through the motions, meaning, and I suspect that there's a lot of agents out there like this, and they're not really talking about it. Brokers aren't really talking about it. Trainers aren't really talking about it, and agents are embarrassed to talk about it a little bit. But I think there's a lot of agents out there that are just kind of coasting right now because they know they have this, right? And so if a deal falls in their lap, they'll do the deal. But if you're a 20 to 25 deal a year agent and you just kind of coast for 30 or 36 or 39 weeks, well, like I said, that's 10 deals right there. All right, so immediately we're taking a $43,870 hit by taking advantage of unemployment. Now here, when you look at this math, you may say, and this is a fair argument, by the way, well, I'm only going to make $13,000 more and I got to bust my ass, sorry for my language, I'm just going to take it easy because that's not worth the $13,870 more, right? I'm okay taking it easy. But here's where it adds up. Watch this. So for the sake of this exercise, remember we're doing 10 less transactions. So let's look long term. Okay, so I'm just going to write a number 1, a number 2, a number 3, a number 4, a number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These numbers represent the 10 transactions that are gone. These numbers represent the 10 transactions, the 10 clients, the 10 referrals, the 10 expireds, the 10 Zillow leads, whatever, that are gone, right? These are gone, okay? So now watch what happens in the course of 5 years. Now this is based on actual numbers from our team. Now we could go on and on with this and you'll see for a second how it could even get bigger and bigger. But this is based on 10 transactions. If you do 10 transactions right now, what you can expect to get over the next 5 years. Ready? So everyone has that one client, okay? 1 out of 10 is really good to you. And they're going to send you, 1 referral per year. Okay, this is a great client, right? They come to your client events, you take care of them, they take care of you, they send you 1 referral per year. That's a great client. We all like them. Yeah. Clients 2 through 4, these are closings 2 through 4. None of them send you business ever. You never hear from them again. Maybe they hated you. Maybe the transaction didn't go that great. Whatever, right? Those are gone. Okay. 5, 6, and 7. 3 out of 10, we know, okay, so we know, I'm just going to write down here, 0, okay, there's a 1 here, just put a box around it, 0 there. 5, 6, and 7 all buy and sell again, okay, in the next, 3 deals in the next 5 years, got it? So 1 refers you somebody every single year. They love you. You take care of them. 2, 3, and 4, gone. You never hear from them again. They moved out of state. They don't have anybody to refer you. That's it. 5, 6, and 7 all move again within the next 5 years. Okay, so now there's 3 transactions there. 8, 9, and 10 all are deals. Now, by the way, these don't send you. They don't send you referrals. They don't buy or sell again. But 8, 9, and 10, guess what happens with these transactions? You end up doing what we call ancillary business from those transactions. So you do a deal from an open house, right? Because this seller let you hold their home open, you got another deal from an open house. You get a sign call, right? You get a Zillow lead, a coming soon lead. Something comes from those 3 transactions, something ancillary comes from those 3, which takes our number now to 3 over there. And this is in a 5-year period, right? Now these 3 might come in the first year, right? They may come from a referral over here, right? This is just very, very conservative, okay? Now watch this. One of these years, just to throw a curveball in here, this referral ends up sending you, this number 1, who's sending you a referral every single year. One of those, out of the 5, one of those sends you a referral also. Okay, so now we're actually at 1 times 5 years. We're at 5 plus 1 because they're referring you to somebody. Let's be honest, they're probably referring you to more than 1, but I'm being conservative. So we have 5 plus 1 plus 0. These guys are gone. Plus 3 equals. If my math is correct, that equals 22. Okay, 22. So in the course of 5 years, because we did not accomplish these 10 transactions, conservatively, it's actually going to cost you 22 transactions. Now watch this. I don't even have enough wall space to continue this. We could do the same exercise, by the way, with this group, right? Because the referrals refer you to somebody. The new listing that you took, the new open house, they now have a home to sell and buy. I'm not even getting into all that. I'm just saying direct business. So now we have 22 transactions over a 5-year period times $4,387 in commission per transaction equals $96,514. That's a 9. $96,514 over the course of 5 years, gone. Minimum, conservatively. This is not even getting into ancillary business. We're not even talking about how deal number 6 leaves you the most amazing review ever, and it ends up somebody sees it and lives in the community, and they list or sell with you, right? I'm not even getting into any of that stuff. This is a conservative model, $96,514 gone if you make the decision to coast on unemployment. And so again, I believe that unemployment is important. I think that we're in a situation where it's necessary to some degree, especially for those that are lead agents and brokers on here. You've got agents that are just starting off. They have no choice. They haven't made any income yet. But for those that are in production, already in production, those are the ones that make me nervous. Because if you take the mentality of, this is great, you know, hey, at least I got this coming in, which we know that's going to wear out at some point in time. I'll work what comes to me, but yeah, I don't need to put together a strong 4-hour schedule, right? I don't need to figure out a way to work. You know, I've got toddlers at home, or whatever, right? I don't need to go out of my way. You know, I'm a teacher, I'm a cook, I'm this, I'm that. No, if you take that mentality. Now, by the way, there's some level of balance, of course, even in your schedule. Yeah. You're not working 10 hours a day. You're working 4. You figured out a way to work 4. Yeah. But here's the reality. You're not going to do those 10 less deals. Because if you did, it's going to end up costing you close to $100,000 in the next 5 years. Right. So what are your thoughts on this concept, number 1? And by the way, when I started talking to Kate and Taylor and some of the others about this concept, it almost felt a little insensitive. It almost felt like, I don't care about people's financial situation and I'm kind of like insensitive to that. That's not the case. What I'm insensitive to is this whole idea of just coasting and taking advantage of unemployment and doing 10 less deals, which again, you may be saying, well, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to do 10 less deals. Well, if you're doing 20 or 30 normally and you just kind of coast, you will do, especially when you have this many weeks of benefit, you're going to coast. So if you do 10 less deals because of it, it's going to cost you close to $100,000.
I mean, that's what we're saying. I mean, this is what I make in a year minimum. So think of that. I mean,
right.
You're losing a year's worth of income.
A year's worth of income. Yep. I love that. That's a perfect way to look at it. So, anyways, it was important to us to get this message out today. We appreciate you being on. Again, if you want Amy's schedule or a copy of the schedule we put together, text the word schedule to 55444. Text the word schedule to 55444. Last but certainly not least, for those of you that are newcomers to Relead, this is an 18-week program that we've been putting on. Next week, we're going into week 14. You can join us for the continued sessions if you would like. If you would do us a favor, if you like what you heard today, okay, because we're going to keep doing these for free because I love adding value and getting the word out there. If you like what you heard today, share a quote, share an aha, share something, take a screen grab of us together, whatever, and make sure you use the hashtag Relead, hashtag LoveRU. We love doing giveaways. We didn't have enough time today to do a giveaway. We'll do one next week. We're always giving away backpacks and fun stuff. So share it with those that are out there. And again, if you want a copy of the schedule, text schedule to 55444. Last but certainly not least, if you're not already, and I know most of you are, because most of you are return clients and agents that join us. If you're not already, if you want more resources, join the Glover U Inner Circle. It's a free Facebook group, free to join. We put all of our stuff in there, all of our content. A lot of what we share with our team goes in there. That's the Glover U Inner Circle on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. It's free to join. And lastly, the Live Unreal podcast. A lot of people ask, where do I get sales training? Where do I get, there's enough motivation out there. I need sales training in real estate. Where can I get that? That's the Live Unreal podcast. And that's the same stuff that Amy's been exposed to for the last 7 or 8 years while she's been at JGA. So if you have a referral for Amy, we will leave her information in the email that goes out after this. And she worked all of Southeast Michigan, right?
I do. Yeah.
And that's Amy Duncan. You can look her up on Facebook, or you can find her through our networks as well. And other than that, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being on, Amy.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you, and it's been exciting to watch you grow.
Good. Thanks.
All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks for joining us.